Fly Boy Shingle Sports Commentary. Hey guys, now like, subscribe, all that jazz. I would greatly appreciate that. What I wanted to talk about today is the Jazz and the Clippers, what everybody else is talking about. Now, this is a interesting conversation we have here because we know Donovan Mitchell was hurt, okay, but he was not hurt enough to score 37 points. So I'm not sure if the sports commentary saying this really means something because at the end of the day, he still performed. So I don't want to talk about injuries or he was hurt, so it doesn't count and all that jazz because the Jazz they blew it. They blew it 2 games in a row. Okay, they were up I think 18 game 5, and then they were up 26 in game 6. And I wanted to talk about did they underperform for the season, and it's clearly they did. Right, they lost to the Clippers that didn't have Kawhi Leonard, one of the top 5 players in the game. And I think that the reason they lost was, I mean, not just Terrence Mann, that was a freak show. I'm not sure if he can do it again, but I think that he performed well. I'm not gonna say he's a good player because we don't know yet. The hallmark of a great player is to do this consistently. Consistency is the name of the game. That's why you see in travel team sports is basically year round because they want to see if the talent can actually live this life 24/7. Okay, if they can eat, breathe, and shit this game, this sport, whether that's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, boxing, whatever. Okay, but yeah, that's beside the point. Now, I do kind of want to blame Donovan Mitchell because he's a leader. He's always going to take the blame. Mike Conley was hurt as well, and he didn't really perform as well. He performed kind of bad, to be honest. And everybody's talking about Rudy Gobert. And he was exposed definitely. Terrence Mann, everybody were taking it to him. Terrence Mann in game 6 had about 7 threes, 7 out of 10 threes. And you can tell that they were always leaving one person open and getting to that open spot where the person that has to close out, which is usually the 4 or 5, like Rudy Gobert, or one of the big guys, Joe Ingles, has to close out and get to that open shooter. And they couldn't perform that last night. They couldn't get to that open shooter. And Rudy Gobert is a defensive juggernaut, but I don't think that he's as good as we think he is, okay? Because he can't close out. And that's what makes a great all-around versatile defender. If they can really guard that 3 to 5, which is a small forward, power forward, center, hell, even a shooting guard. I feel like the new age 4 or 5s have to be able to close out even a two shooting guard. They have to be able to close out. And we really take this for granted in today's NBA. We say that, oh, the analytics say that this guy is the best defensive player to ever play. But is he? Is he is the question. I don't think that Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, Anthony Davis, just great defensive juggernauts would ever let Terrence Mann get 7 threes by not closing out. And I think that I actually do not want to say that the Clippers didn't win that game too. The Clippers definitely won that game. To be down 26 in game 6 and not give up, it takes a inhuman amount of willpower and belief in your game, in your team, and to have a level of self-confidence that people dare not dream of. And I think the whole playoff P, oh playoff P, he's whack, pandemic P. I think all those people are really casuals. Okay, he had a bad playoff series. Okay, it happens. It happens. Every great has one. Every great has a few bad playoff series where they play like shit. It's human nature, and he's still been to the conference finals twice before this in for Indiana. I believe in 2013 or 14. Don't quote me, but it was around that time. So Paul George really proved he is a superstar and that he can lead a team. And remember, he beat the number one team in the West, which is usually the best team in the NBA. He destroyed them in a certain extent. Him, Patrick Beverly, oh, my boy Reggie Jackson, and Terrence Mann were playing unbelievable without their leader, Kawhi. And this really says how deep the Clippers bench is. I think we take this for granted as well. Everybody's making jokes about the Clippers, saying they were out 0-2 to the Mavericks, to the Jazz. This series is over. This is the Flippers. They're the Flippers. But okay, now what do you say now? I even it was funny because as well, Skip Bayless had posted a tweet saying, "Oh, the Utah Jazz is not gonna stay hot. they're gonna cool off. And I literally read hundreds of comments of people saying, "What are you talking about? It's the flippers. The Utah Jazz is gonna win. You get off online, old man." And he was correct. He was correct. And I've always said this. I've talked about this to my friends and people I know, that every team that's going to win the championship, every team that's won the championship in the last maybe 20 years, hell, maybe even forever, they always have that superstar guy you can count on to take the last second shot. Or they have that veteran guy who, in the time of great doubt, when you just blew a 25-point lead, now you're down 15, or now you're up only 15, 10 to 15. They have that guy who hits a three, hits another two, and brings it back up to 20. They have that confidence, man. That guy who says, okay, guys, let's calm it down a little bit. We're still going to win. We have to make a few more shots, get a few good stops on the defensive end, and we'll be good. And I feel like Utah Jazz, they were kind of missing that, Donovan Mitchell, I honestly think Donovan Mitchell is the best guy under 25. I think he's better than Luka. I think he's better than Tatum. I think he's better than Trae Young. I think that he is the best player under 25 that we have in the NBA. But he's still young, We've seen all these young guys, whether, it's Luka, it's Donovan Mitchell, whether it's Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, these young superstars, future superstars, or maybe superstars now. We've seen that in the playoffs, they don't perform too well because the pressure is too high. Okay, you need that guy. You need that Paul George, that Kawhi Leonard, that LeBron James, that Steph Curry, that Kevin Durant, that James Harden, that kind of gets you over the hump. Okay, who says okay, or that even Chris Paul. He hasn't won the championship, but he's a primetime performer, where you say, okay, we were up 20, now we're only up 10, and nobody wants to take the next shot because they don't want to be known as the guy who lost the game. You need that veteran guy who takes those next 3 shots because he's confident in himself to know that he's going to get this team over the hump. And unfortunately, as a young player, Donovan Mitchell cannot be that because he does not have experience. He hasn't been in this arena too long, even though, they did good last year, but not good enough. And Mike Conley is a 14-year vet, and he should have probably performed. He should have probably performed a little better. He should have been that guy who gets him over the hump, who says, "Okay, guys, calm it down." Who does something like CP3, "Cool it, guys. We got this. Let's take it slow. Let's take it down a notch. Let's just relax. We're up by 15, 10. Let's just blow open this lead even more." But they don't have that, and when you don't have that, you make poor choices because the nerves just get to you, and that's what happened. And, they're a great team. They're probably going to do a lot of great things in the future. And Donovan Mitchell is probably going to be, a top 10 talent in the next few years. But for the time being, and usually, the NBA is ruled by veterans. It's ruled by guys who are between 30 and 35. Between 28 and 35. People have this interpretation that the NBA is ruled by the young guys. To a certain extent, it kind of is. But it's not, though. It's one... And the seasoned guys win the championships, win the finals MVPs. They win the defensive player of the year, MVP to a certain extent. Unless this year not really, because Joker's still young. But he got almost swept, I believe. Yeah, he got almost swept by the Suns. I think he did get swept actually. Yeah, he got swept. So it shows you that having a veteran leader like CP3 can change the chemistry of a team to levels unbelievable and never thought of before. You need that veteran player to ice the veins of the team. Alright guys, if you stuck it this far, I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel, like it, all that jazz, and have a good one.